What's up everyone, this is Soul Reaper, and in this video I want to discuss what I think will be 5 of Moze's best skills in Borderlands 3. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you enjoy the video, please remember to leave a like. Now I want to make a note before we get into the video that I probably spent a little bit too much time looking at all of Moze's different skills, and in comparison to the others, I had much more of a struggle in actually narrowing it down to just 5 skills. I can definitely say that she has a ton of awesome abilities, way more than 5, but for the sake of time and for this video, I did have to cut a few out. With that said, the first skill that we'll be taking a look at is Vlad Off Ingenuity. Vlad Off Ingenuity is a passive ability that can be found early on in Moze's Shielded Retribution tree. It increases her max shield by 30% and gives her resistance to shock damage by 47%. Considering that the focus of this tree is to improve her shield, this skill does exactly that, and in more than just one way. In case you didn't know, shields are particularly vulnerable to shock damage, and although the capacity increase of 30% is a great addition, the shock damage resistance is actually what I consider to be the main appeal for this skill. Especially when it comes to true Vault Hunter mode and other endgame modes where elemental damage buffs are only going to be more dramatic. Maybe it's a bit of an exaggeration to say, but for me personally, I think even if this skill were just shock resistance, I'd still say it's one of the better skills, especially considering how heavy this entire tree can rely on your shield. Regardless of how you decide to construct your Moze build, if you can put together some skill points to invest in this skill, I highly recommend it whenever you can. Next on the list we have Short Fuse. This skill is found in the Demolition Woman tree, and just about the only skill I actually thought was really noteworthy in this entire tree. Vampire also stood out to me, but looking at it, it's great when it comes to damage output, as whenever Moze does gun damage, Short Fuse grants a 20% chance for a secondary explosion that does 75% of her gun damage. Essentially, this just means that you have a chance for higher overall damage output, as you gain a 1 in 5 chance to have an explosion tied to each of your bullets. Looking back, this is definitely an all or nothing type of skill, especially considering the skill tree which I mentioned. I didn't find that there was much in the skill tree taking note of, but I actually do think that if you decide to invest heavily into the skill tree, there's a lot of compounding effects of the different skills that are available. So by the time you do get to the end and make use of Short Fuse, it will actually become quite powerful, just because, like I said, all the skills seem to reinforce one another and just make each other stronger. Moving on to the next skill, this kill skill has a lot of potential usefulness, as there is actually no stack limit, and that skill is Phalanx Doctrine. Similar to earlier, if you plan on building up a strong shield for Moze, this is the way to go. As an added bonus, you also get increased gun damage as well. So Phalanx Doctrine is a kill skill that when maxed out, increases max shield by 15% and gun damage by 10% per stack. There is no stack limit and each stack lasts 30 seconds. So hopefully this goes without saying, but this skill is just insane. Now I don't think this skill is going to be particularly useful if you're just fighting one enemy, but when it comes to mobbing a bunch of low level enemies, you're just going to be absolutely melting them in no time. Just think back to all the times in Borderlands 2, whether you're fighting a bunch of low tier bandits or loader bots or even Varkids, and how quickly you could just take one of them out. Now imagine actually getting damage and shield boosts with every kill, making it even easier to take out the remaining of the enemies that you still have. That's exactly what this skill is, and I think there's going to be a lot of potential with the skill when it comes to taking out large groups of enemies all at once. For this next section, I'm bundling 2 skills, Forge and Redistribution, because of how similar they are to one another. Forge is the capstone ability in Bottomless Mags that grants constant ammo regeneration to 5% of your magazine per second. Redistribution lets Moze regenerate 5% of her magazine size over 3 seconds whenever landing a critical hit. So you can probably see why I bundled these 2 skills together, seeing as they both focus on ammo regeneration, although there is a slight difference between them that lets you distinguish which one's better, and that I would have to say is Forge. If you've had a chance to see Lost Data's speedrun of the Proving Grounds with Moze, you should be familiar with just how insane this ability can be. If you haven't, I suggest you check it out. I'll include the link down in the description. I think the gameplay speaks for itself. The final skill on this list is Tenacious Defense. When Moze's shields get depleted, she instantly gets back 40% of her shield and does an extra 30% gun damage for 30 seconds. This skill does require a full recharge of your shield before being activated again, but with that being its only drawback, it's pretty clear that this is one of the best skills you can equip for Moze, and rightfully so considering it is the capstone skill for her Shielded Retribution tree. This is likely the skill that I'll start off trying to get because of the dramatic effect it has towards your survivability. Looking back at all the videos I've done for the top 5 skills, Moze actually gave me the most difficulties when assembling a comprehensive list. I didn't even mention other skills like Drowning in Brass or Scorching RPMs, 2 fantastic skills from her that will ultimately increase your damage output. But anyways guys, that's going to be it for the video. Thank you all for watching. Let me know down in the comments if there are any skills you think will be better than the ones I included. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more content in the future, and I will see you next time.